problem is about the going to page 3 and the you talked about the number of budgeted employees. I know we discussed briefly the Racial Equity and Social Justice Task Force in their Q3 report and in their final report. Both the Communications Subcommittee and the Equitable Workforce Development Subcommittee recommended both a full-time cabinet-level officer focused on racial equity who can move this forward and staff to support that person. And they both recommended that as a goal to be implemented in 2022 as one of their top things to be implemented. Is that something, it doesn't appear that that's reflected in the salaries and wages there in the line or the number of budgeted employees. Is that something that we can include to make sure that we are able to have someone driving forward this report that we're all digesting?
Unfortunately, with the timing of that report and just being recently released, we are not in a position to have any kind of movement on that at this time. We will definitely take a look at that, make some determinations on what we can implement, what we cannot implement, what can happen this year, what we need to put off. But it's just too premature based on how quick we got that report to make any kind of promise or dedication at this point. It is 100% a conversation that is going to take place, that needs to take place. It's just the timing. I just cannot make any kind of representation at that point.
And I appreciate that, Ms. Wilms. I guess, and I shared this, and I believe that the recommendation was made in the Q3 report in November. It has been several months since then, and this was a top priority of 2 of the committees. And I don't think that we need to have the number of people or the exact details of job descriptions ironed out, but I believe we should make a commitment in this document to carve out the money and the number of budgeted folks in this. I mean, this work is critical work. Our community leaders have spent over a year putting together these recommendations, and I really think we should have a sense of urgency around this and make sure that we don't drop the baton in terms of implementing this, and that role and support staff is going to be absolutely critical to implementing the dozens of recommendations. So I just want to make that comment for the record.
No problem. I don't want there to be any confusion that there's no sense of urgency or we do not understand what the task force has asked us to do. We do have some opportunities with some staffing that's already in place. I think a lot of the work Tamika does. I think a lot of the work Marco does. A lot of the work Sheena's doing. It's just putting those under one umbrella. The mayor has made space with hiring a policy and strategic director. There's a lot of opportunities on how we use that role, but it's looking at what the task force has actually asked us to do, marrying that up with what we are already doing, and maybe renaming things, realigning things. But it's us getting our story out. This is what we're already doing. These are the positions that already help with this particular issue, and making sure we're getting that known in the community and how Akron's already working on this issue and where we need to grow on the issue.